And instead of everybody having their own space, like they do in certain situations, his family, they all live on a compound, a family compound. So all four of his wives, they all had their own space on the compound, but everybody lived on the same compound. My husband was like, mm-mm.
Yeah, nobody's listen. I say
like
that. Listen,
and he
when I
grew
started
up like that, and
when I
he
started
like,
working on my family house for the Airbnb, I was like, I'm not renting it long term to people, because you're not going to get up and start pounding fufu and wash the clothes and then hanging on this and they don't understand that, and there's no system to tell people that's inappropriate, it's inconsiderate.
right,
It's just I'm not going to be fighting with people over things that are basic for me. And if I know I can't tolerate it, I'm just not going to put myself in that situation.
Exactly. And I don't think people really understand, like, for a lot of people in Ghana, they start before the sun come up.
Yes.
I'm still asleep.
Yes.
Like, bro, I remember I was somewhere. And you know, most of the time, first thing in the morning, the first thing you're going to hear, you hear the roosters crowing and you might hear somebody sweeping. You got to learn to listen to that for probably an hour till it's finished. Depending on the size of that compound, you're going to listen to somebody sweeping for the first thing in the morning, which is not so bad. But then you got to hear that fufu getting pounded. And people don't understand that repetitive sound. Oh, Lord. And people are gonna be pounding fufu the first thing in the morning. So, because you gotta gotta get ready for time or whatever. So, you know, I think people really should get a good understanding of different levels of living in Ghana. Yeah. Because like everybody that I know lives in a single family compound. They everything is, they have AC, they have power. Most people have a generator. Some people have solar, like all of these things. But then you have a whole nother larger sect of the population that doesn't have all of those things. Yeah. And they do have to carry water, and they do, you know, all of the.
But like, listen, even with this water thing, and I want to say this specifically because I live in Cape Coast, and we have less of drought issues in Cape Coast because obviously we're right by the ocean. But the Ghana Water Company comes and turns our water off all the time whenever they want to. But you know what we do? Even though I'm about to get a pump and a poly tank, we have barrels in the bathroom with waters. I'm not going down the street to carry water. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's a level of.
People don't understand, like, you have to have your little backup plan. Because like at my friend's house, they have barrels in the bathroom for that reason. Yes. If they cut off the water, at least everybody can still. Now you can take your bucket and fill it with some water and take your shower.
Right, because that's what people who don't live in Ghana don't realize. You could be, if you think you're going to come in Ghana, like people are like, who bucket baths? Let me tell you why we bucket bath in Ghana. A lot of people don't actually, but why we bucket bath in Ghana? Because you can have flowing water, have a poly tank, have whatever, and Ghana water turn the water off, and you got soap in your hair, on your face, and you're going to be standing there trying to figure out how to whatever. So what you do is you fill the bucket just in case. Exactly. If the water gets turned off, you get to rinse off and finish your bath and not be trying to slip and slide out.
And that's why I say everybody.
Yeah, experience.
At some point,
you got to have experience.
You may have to use that. I've been in the shower and be completely soaked up, washing my hair. And my hair, you know, my hair long.
Yes.
I'm in the middle of washing my hair. And not only it wasn't the water that went out, the
light off. Yes, and then the pump don't work
so my without the electricity. Not working. And I'm like, and I lived at the top of McCarthy Hill, so I'm sitting there like, fuck, that I had to figure out. But we had some barrels outside, so I was able to call my daughter and be like, hey, bring me some water.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Those are things that you learn with experience. I mean, even me, the first house that I rented in Accra, when I was there, I was like, look, I don't want no water issues. I'm not used to water issues because, like I said, I got all the water in Cape Coast and we got barrels just in case. And we rarely have to use our barrels, like very rarely. So I was like, I'm getting a house that has a poly tank and a pump. So the house that I found, it had a poly tank, it had a pump, and they had a borehole. Still had water issues. Yes. I had to fight them people. Not just the power, the water was not pumping up and filling into the tank. The homeowners were refusing to hire the company to come and fill the tank. Like, I had to fight. At one point they were like, well, you have barrels. Why don't you put your barrel outside and catch rainwater? I said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is why your teeth are falling out, because you catching water that's run off a roof, and the rust, the aluminum, the elements are in the water. You're using it to brush your teeth, and all around your teeth are decaying. I don't play them games. I ain't come here to live that kind of life. So after enough fighting and forcing, they started filling the tank up to keep me satisfied, because I was like, listen.
And see, I think that for the most part, you know, if people could really understand that it's not gonna be unicorns and rainbows.
It's not. Even if you have tons of money, you're gonna have.
It doesn't matter how much money.
Yeah, I say to people,
how much money you have.
I say to people, it might be very easy or fairly easy for you to make $1 million in Ghana. It's probably going to be easier for you to spend it. You're going to spend it on a lot of amenities, trying to make yourself comfortable, trying to stay sane. I've seen so many people develop alcohol addictions, drug addictions, and whatever else addictions, trying to cope with the frustrations of things not going as planned in Ghana. You have to be prepared for that.
Nothing goes as planned. We literally started building our house in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
We're still building our house.
Listen, I started renovating my house in 2018. The house is fully built. All I'm doing is what was I doing? I took out a couple walls. I added a bathroom. I redid the bathroom, redid the kitchen, finished up the something house. I'm not finished either. I ain't finished because I don't have the money, and the frustration of it, the mental time of it.
I think more than anything, the mental, because with my husband being Ghanaian, I'm thinking, oh, this will be easy,
especially as a man.
We're here and we're making the money to send it to Ghana, and what happens?
Oh no.
Say, oh, put up the wall. I gave you, I know he's given more than enough money to get the entire wall built completely. He's asking, okay, send me a picture of the wall. Send me a picture of the wall. You finally, okay, the person who you trusted to give you to do this wall, oh, my phone is broke. Oh, my camera's broke. Oh, all of these issues. So now you call somebody else. Hey,
go over there and check.
Go over there and take some pictures of my property and let me see my wall. The wall, it was at a place where you could still step over it. And I'm like,
that's one thing I don't do. I don't do send money, anything.
That was what my mom anymore.
My mom used to be like, my mom, she has all the same stories. She started building in Ghana decades before I was born. And when I started living there, I stayed in Cape Coast for like 9 months before I moved to Accra, just to like soak up my family and enjoy that time. And while I was there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a couple things on the house. And when she came, she was like, you know how many times I paid for these things to be done? And they never did. She was just so amazed. She was so proud.
You have to be there. You have to be there. And I think what people also don't understand is that a lot of us are coming from here to there. We never even owned a house.
Yeah.
We don't build a house. So you have a whole lot that you have to learn.
Learning curve.
In the process. Like just the other day I was talking news in Ghana. My husband is in Ghana. Mm-hmm. And I called him and I'm like, babe, one of my girls, she's renting a house from someone. The house, she says, aesthetically, the house is very pleasing, but the infrastructure of the house is really poor. I'm talking to her on the phone And I hear, I'm like, is it raining? And she's like, no, it's not raining. I don't know what that noise is. So she's walking around the house looking for the noise. She goes in the bathroom. A pipe is bust in the bathroom. So there's water going everywhere. And then her plumber comes over, and the plumber is like, why did they use these pipes? This is not the pipes that you use for this. And then there was this, at some point, there was this smell coming from her tub. She found out that when they did the outlines for the toilet and the tubs and all of the outlines, they joined the outlines. And I'm like, people taking all of these shortcuts or whatever. And if you don't know, if you don't know what you're looking at, you don't know that this is not a good move. And if you don't have a reputable or a good builder, like, it's plenty of people who know how to connect some pipes, but do they know what they actually doing? Yes. So this ended up being a situation where they would literally have to dig up the whole everything to change it.
I'm like, at some point in life, I'm gonna get around to doing all of this on my YouTube channel, because I have done like 2 years of construction. And you think, like, you know, in America, buying a house and remodeling it is less headache than building a house. But in Ghana, it's more headache. Girl, because not only you're going to uncover they didn't do this right, they didn't do that right, they didn't do it what should be code. There is no code, and then every person that comes and looks at the problem is going to tell you a different problem than the person before. And every single person, the price, and then inflation in Ghana affects in a day.
Oh my God!
Cement on Tuesday and on Wednesday is more money. On Thursday, it's less money. They never estimate the right amount of bags. They never estimate that it's
so and see, this is where I get frustrated with people, because a lot of us coming from here, because you know, because of the system here and how things work here, if I come and I say, like, for instance, my neighbor over here, they have a blank plot of land right here, and they just cleared it off, so I'm assuming they're getting ready to fill it in and start doing some work there. The contractor here is going to be able to tell you, this is how much it's going to cost for me to build your house completely. This is what it is. And then you have some margin of error for once it's up, and maybe you want to change certain details, but they can give you a price. In Ghana, and people get upset with me when I tell them, I can't tell you how much it's going to cost to build a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Ghana, because it will drastically change. From
even a house that's built. Like, if I ask my mom, how much did you spend to build this house? She like, huh?
I can't tell you.
One year you spent 10, another you spent 12. You got to find the receipts. You got to calculate it. The cost of inflation, the dollar done changed, the this done changed. Exactly. It's hard.
And even like one of the sisters that I know, she built in Langba, and she was like, she had her trusted person in Ghana that she could send her stuff to. They sat down, they did all of the plans. She told them things like, oh, I want a great room and I want this. And the terminology was completely misconstrued. This lady ends up with a house twice the size.
Oh my gosh.
She wanted. She ends up, she said when she walked in there, she was like, what? She was like, who's going to clean up?
Exactly. That's me. When people are like, do you want a mansion? I'm like, no, I ain't trying to clean that and repair that. Nah, I'm good. 5 bedrooms is the most I'm willing to do. 5 bedrooms is enough. I can make it a hardy size, but I'm not about to do no 30,000 square feet. No, I'm not.
No, and I think people really don't understand. Like, it's so many things that you have to take in context when building. Like, by the time our house is finished, I'm sure I'm going to be able to be a general contractor.
Listen, everybody said that. My uncle was like, I think that you should just start teaching classes and teach them how to build. I said, I don't know how to build. You know more than they do.
You know more than they do. Because like I was telling my husband with the pipes thing, I was like, okay, baby, so when they lay the pipes, you're going to have to make sure that you're there. like on site the day that they're laying the pipes. Because you have people who like, we want to make sure that we have the best pipes that we can put in the house. Because there's no reason to
take out a cement wall for a repair. That's what people got to understand. These cement walls.
You got to take the whole, you're going to have the money that it's going to take to repair it is going to be so much more than than the extra little 3 CDs you would have paid per pipe. Like, or
let me tell you something. I learned my lesson because, like I said, I just did reno on my house, and I was like, oh, you know, Ghana's progressed so much. You don't need to go and ship stuff from the US anymore. You could buy stuff in Ghana. I bought tiles in Cape Coast, had them tested, girl. The first test we ran on the shower, it looked like the pipes was leaking, and I was like, I just had the plumber repipe this whole bathroom for that very reason. So then I called my cousin, the architect, because he sends me all my people. And he's like, are you sure it's a leak or is it the tiles? Because sometimes the tiles are cheap and the water goes through the tiles and hits the walls. All the tiling in both of my bathrooms. Okay. So now, bathroom ain't even a year old. And I would have to retile the tub, the shower, the wall. And I mean, when I say brand new hotel quality, white, spanking, I had them take down everything, re-spackle, re-mirror. I looked at that shit. I said, I ain't changing it till it fall off. I don't got time for this no more.
You know, it's really crazy because my husband, he was looking at tile here, and I was like, why are you looking at tile? Why we can't get tile in Ghana? And he was like, he said, look, I would rather pay the money to ship every piece of tile that I need.
He's and like, some extras. Tell him to get some extras.
Exactly.
Because if you need repair, you ain't got to patch it. You already got the extras.
Exactly. He said, because a lot of this stuff is coming out of China. And while the stuff that's coming into China, from China to America, they actually have to have a certain kind of quality to it.
1,000%.
The stuff that's coming into Ghana, they don't have to have. Ain't no. They don't
have to have quality, and people in Ghana don't want to pay for quality, so they bringing in the cheaper stuff because that's what the people are willing to pay for. And I was so upset because I was like, you're trying to support the little Ghanaian business, spent thousands of dollars on buying the tile and all of this, and I didn't even want to get it from my crowd. I was happy to be getting it in Cape Coast. New toilet, new shower, new everything. First use, and the water is coming out and the walls look wet. And I'm like, you cannot be kidding me. Like, the time you take off to stand there and supervise these people. And when I say you got to supervise them, you have to stand with them while they build, while they plaster, while they whatever, and tell them, don't do this. Don't do that. Not that high. No, where you going? Nope. No tiles over it. Nope.
When we first rented we rented a house in the McCarthy Hill house that we rented. I wanted to renovate one of the bathrooms. So, of course, she agreed to let us renovate one of the bathrooms. Girl. So I had them rip the whole bathroom out. And I get the tiles. They're decent tiles, at least I thought. And I go in there and they're doing the tiles. And I had told them, I said, when I need y'all to go through every single box of tiles and make sure they're the same. They go through some of them. Mm-hmm. So they get to the last goddamn box. And it's a totally different tile. I said, so I come in the bathroom, because my husband, he come out there, he say, we got a little bit of a problem. I need you to come look at, but calm down. Like he's like, please. He's like, I already told them you're gonna be so angry. So I'm trying to just warn you before you go in here. Girl, I go in here. They didn't call themselves, made a design in the floor. With the tiles that's.
They always do that. The mismatched ones, they go put a star, they go put it in a triangle.
I said, absolutely not. Pull it up. This is not what I asked for. Nope. Y'all gonna have to find somewhere else to hide that shit. Take those towels and put them under the shower. Mm-hmm. And bring those towels out here so my floor can be the same it's supposed to be. So then I'm standing there looking at the floor. I said, this floor is not level.
Yep, that's normal.
I said, my floor is not leveled. Why is the floor not leveled? No, my husband, he's like, oh shit, I told y'all.
Girl, let me tell you, when they working, I'll be walking around with a level like this. Just putting it places. Looking. I ain't even measuring nothing. I just want them to be scared. They will waste your time and your money.
Your time.
Yo, I had the same thing. I had my mason. I had him taking down the towels before he do the bathroom. I said the floor is not level. He's like, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. No, he's like, yes, it is. I measured it. I said, no, it's not. He was like, yes, it is. Argument. I said, come here. Let me show you something. I said, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off and stand here. He took his shoes off. Oh, you're right. I said, I know what I'm talking about. You're not about to slope this bathroom. The water runs out the bathroom and into my hall and flood the hallway and create all these problems. Do what I tell you to do, not what you think you want to do. And it's so bad because I had them doing construction for months and I had to be there. And I don't even get to be there and lay down. One day I got sick because I personally decided to spray pesticide and it gave me like a little upper respiratory infection. And the next day I couldn't walk. So I had to lay in bed all day. The next morning I come in to check the work they did. On the one day I laid in bed, they put my windows in wrong.
See? And so that's why my husband, he don't allow no work to be done when he's not.
I agree. I was like, I looked at him. I said, what? It's backwards. He was like, what? I said, I told you that the burglar proof and the what, and the windows are going on this side. He had to take it all out. He's like, this is what you get for not being on the job, Madam Foreman. You supposed to be.
And then got the nerd hair jokes.
Looking at them. I said, you're supposed to be the Mason. He's like, but you know what you want. I know what I want. And I told you, like, literally, it'd be so bad when I had them taking out walls. I'm marking the walls myself. Remove, leave, and pen. Read what I wrote. Don't come ask me no questions. Leave me alone. I'm tired.
No, and I think that's why I get frustrated when people say, oh, just come, you can come to Ghana and buy some land and build you a house. And
I haven't built nothing. I haven't built anything. And I don't know. My cousin is an architect. His brother's an engineer. I got a couple of people in construction, my family, and they're all like, when are you going to build a house? I'm like, please, my heart, my pressure. I can't take it. It's too much. My heart, I can't come and do this thing. I'm tired. And then now that I done my house in Cape Coast, he'd be like, my cousin be like, I feel so bad for you. Because I would literally have to call him, tell the worker what to do, call him, let him talk to the worker, and then talk to the worker again, and then call him back and tell him what I told the worker to make sure he understood 7 times, and then stand there and watch him all day, every day. He was like, when you finish that house, I might hire you to come work for me. I said, I don't want to do it.
You know, and I think that's another thing, that if you're not like cognitively aware, mm-hmm. that people don't even realize that most of the time Ghanaians tell you they understand what they
don't. And I think that's like you said, that's an impact of me being bicontinental my entire life and me having a lot of friends that are from other countries, because they all like that. Jamaicans are like that too. Yeah, man. No worry, no problem. When you come back, it's the wrong damn thing.
It's the wrong thing.
When I'm in Ghana, I ask people, I be like, so what did I say? So what do I want you to do?
That's what I do.
Sometimes I want you to do it. How you going to do it? And if you can't do it, what you going to do? And if anything happens, what am I going to do to you? Like, I asked them so many questions. They be laughing at me and then they be calling 5 minutes later with a problem. I said, didn't I just go over this with
you? Exactly. And see, that's that thing right there is like, people just don't get that you can't just walk into somebody's country and expect that it's going to go perfect.
That's what I was saying in terms of the leave the American thing behind, because that's the perspective I have with that. Like, if you think you're going to find a trained professional and you can leave it in his hands and you have no work to do, you are sadly mistaken.
I wanted to ask you is, how do you feel about that part of this, I guess, new renaissance of...
So I feel like I said earlier,
Because I'm asking that because you say you were saying, you know, they're slow and they, you know, whatever.
Yes, and I have those conversations with not just, you know, Black people from other countries, but also with Ghanaians who come and are frustrated, annoyed, whatever. But I think, and I said this before, I saw the first video with the Ghanaian, or the girl who came to do like an exchange program in Ghana, and when she left, she had nothing but terrible thing to say. She hated it. The people stink. They don't wear deodorant. They breastfeeding their babies everywhere. They this, that, and the third, and whatever else. And I was like, listen, a lot of what she's saying is right.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with what she's saying. Not because of what she's saying, but the way she's saying it.
The way
you're intending to be problematic. You want to be disrespectful. You want to be rude, and you want to whatever. That's the problem. Yes, that's the problem I have. But on the other side of it, for me, the other problem I had was this is also Ghana's fault. Because you cannot create an initiative where you're bringing people into countries and you're not dealing with things like sanitation. You're not dealing with things like electricity. You're not dealing with all of these things and expecting them not to say anything. So if you want it to be a mutually beneficial situation, the work effort needs to be twofold. Outsiders need to know that they have to be respectful of voicing their opinions. And they also have to understand there are cultural norms that might not translate to what they feel is okay for them. And even if you have an issue with it, there's a way that you can go about it that doesn't seem bad. And there's another thing when you just straight bath-mouth it and talking crap, because I've seen people who come from America, no education, no money, no job, no business, no nothing, who have the highest expectations of the country. And I'm like, but you add nothing to the country. Exactly. Don't be asking for what you can't give. Don't be asking for an experience you can't even cultivate at home. You do nothing in your own country. You didn't go to school and become a highly educated person in your country, a high earner. You didn't pay your taxes. You didn't contribute to the population within your community being of a certain level there. So don't come here and feel like you're entitled to certain things. So I'm like, there has to be a certain level of respect, but I don't think it should go as far as what they do in Egypt, to where you can't say certain things and you're being jailed. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not for me. But people have to know how to move. You can't live in a society and feel like you're the smartest person or the best person within that group and not be tuned to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that there are a lot of people who have to go and fetch water. I don't turn my nose down to those people that are fetching water out of necessity. I turn my nose down to people who are fetching water so that you could post on Instagram. That to me is not cute. What you do to survive, to get you clean, to get you to work is your business. What you do out of your cultural norms that are safe. I'm not talking about child mutilation. I'm not talking about child working. I'm not talking about multiple wives. I'm not talking about domestic violence. I'm not talking about any of that. What you do to keep yourself safe or to get yourself by because of your socioeconomic needs is your business, and it's not to be judged, especially if you're not helping the community in that sense. But the rest of it, I think they definitely have to talk to people, because I have seen people come in and they just feeling themselves. You come into an African country, you got a little bit of money, you think that you a king and you can run your mouth any kind of way. It's disrespectful, it's rude, and it's not to be appreciated. So they definitely have to let people know, like, you have to carry yourself accordingly. Black people don't go into different states in America or different developed countries and act like that in developed countries. Don't come into a Black country and feel like you have the right to do whatever and disrespect people, their culture, their traditions, or just things you don't understand just because you came from a first world country. No, you left that country for a reason.
Right. So to piggyback off of that,
I got to turn off my camera for a second so I can get my charger, but you can keep talking.
Okay. To piggyback off of that, that statement, another one of my frustrations with people coming from America or coming from America to Ghana is that it seems like people expect so much from the government as far as for us personally. So people say, well, they're not even giving us citizenship. They're not even giving us land. They're not even giving us this, that, and the third. But
girl,
at the same time, like,
heard that too, and I'm like, but what you gonna do with the citizenship? I don't understand people who want citizenship, don't plan to start businesses, don't plan to do any of this stuff, and they just want to have citizenship. I'm like, for what?
For what? And that is one of my biggest problems is that we you want. Hold on one second. One of my biggest problems is like here. I have to be honest. I'm not interested in the political situation here. I don't care. I don't vote anymore. I used to be an avid voter, but I don't vote anymore. I have completely checked out of the process here. I don't believe in it. I think it's all a farce, whatever the case may be. But I do believe that being in Ghana, if and making these transitions, if we really want to make this this transition easier for people as time goes on, that we're going to have to do things the way the society expects you to do it for now. So like there's a citizenship process.
Yes.
Go through the citizenship process.
Right.
Then once you go through the citizenship process, then it's important that we get involved in
the community and exactly.
And get become a alderman, or what they call it there. You know, the people who help in the neighborhood, like our aldermen,
the councilmen, or MPs. They have MPs, they have councilmen, they have.
Get involved in the. We have to have a seat at the table so that we can have a voice. And I feel like Ghana has afforded. I think a lot of people don't know that Ghana has afforded us several opportunities to get involved in the process, and we've pretty much squandered it.
Right.
And, so how am I expecting Ghana to, you think this is a developing country, you think they really had time to say, you know what?
Exactly. That's what I say to people, like when they complain about different things not happening politically. I'm like, y'all don't understand it. These people don't even know what they should be able to ask of the government. They don't understand the full strength, the full range of making requests and what they should be able to do for them. So a lot of times they're coming in disenfranchised, disgruntled, they just complaining. They have no hope to it. Exactly. You guys coming from America know what the government should do, how things should work and whatever else. And so you look at it different.
And then you have to get involved. Like if you're not willing to get involved to say, hey, all right, like I know one of the concerns is that we don't feel like we should have to go through the same immigration process as other foreigners. I get it.
I've seen that. But this is and my perspective on that, I've had this conversation with other people as well. I have to go through the same process as other people, as a Ghanaian.
I actually agree that you shouldn't have to go through the same process.
But my point was when you are holding an outside passport, that's the way it works. We don't get any breaks, even when they know you 100% Ghanaian. So then for you. Yeah, so for you to be pushing for certain rights that we don't even have, as if your needs supersede those of the actual people who is, it creates a thing where now those same people are not going to turn around and help you.
Exactly. So this is why what I'm saying is, as far as we need to be working together, like and you should be working together to say, hey, why is it that this Ghanaian, maybe, she was raised in America and or she did all of these things in America. She holds an American passport and all of this. Why isn't it that she is able to come in and get what it is that she needs as a Ghanaian?
But I actually can, but I go through the process. You know what I'm saying? I have a Ghanaian passport, so I've done both.
But what I'm saying is, it shouldn't
for other people. Yeah, they have to. And I went to one of the meetings where they had the Black Americans in Ghana, and they were talking about getting the citizenship and how many people applied and who didn't get it and who was supposed to get it. And I was there in one of those meetings, and I called a couple of people who had connections with the people in international affairs to see how many people on the list and see why they weren't approved and all of this. And during that meeting, it was a whole fight about who should be included in the people who were going to be given an citizenship. And they didn't feel like it was for Africans who were coming back, and it was only supposed to be people who were descendants of slavery, who were going to be at this thing and this, that. And it was a whole, like, it was a fight between grown, older people. And I was just like,
and see, that's why I say that it's important that we get involved in the actual political process instead of sitting your ass somewhere running your mouth, because having all of these meetings and doing all of this thing is not beneficial to the actual process. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody taking that shit serious. So
yeah, and I said the same thing, because I was actually there. Jennifer and I were there together, and when they started fighting, and then one person got up and said, "Oh, it's not supposed to be for the Africans. It was supposed to be for this and this, that, and third." And the African guy who's from another country.
Africans?
No, that's the point. So this was what I was saying earlier when I was saying this whole thing of having a subset within the group. Now you leave yourself open to this, because now you want to say you want to do this with your people only, and then when you have issues, you come into the same people you don't want to interact with and asking them to help you. Exactly. So then they started arguing about it, and I was like, I knew that's exactly where it was going to go, because the reality is these repatriation efforts. Listen, this year of return, it wasn't a hoax, it wasn't a gimmick, it was definitely an initiative. But to sit here, if anybody doesn't know that Ghana has not been allowing Black people to come to Ghana and get citizenship for years, it's because you've been out of touch. They've been welcoming and calling people in for years, telling them buy land, build houses, we'll give you citizenship, whatever. They kicked it off as a 400-year celebration because it was the 400-year mark. But that has always been a possibility on the table.
Actually, it's embedded in. Kwame Nkrumah embedded it in the Constitution. Like,
so what happened was there were people who wanted to be a part of that ceremony for the pomp and circumstance. It wasn't about the passport. It wasn't about the citizenship. It was the pomp and circumstance. And with that, you have people who might have connections, who might be willing to help you, who decide to tune out of it because they just like, this too much for me. Y'all figure out y'all issues. I'm gonna keep it moving, because the reality is, another thing in Ghana is you might have connections, you might have people that's willing to help you, but I like to reserve my requests for when they're important.
Or when they're important. And see, my problem with the whole thing is that, you know, it can't be like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little story real quick.
Okay.
So when I came to Ghana, when we actually moved, I got involved with I don't know. Have you heard of Fihankra?
No.
Okay, so Fihankra back in 92, between 92 and 94, the National House of Chiefs basically created a tribe for us. They gave us Fihankra was the given name. We received a stool and a skin. So like for most people don't understand how big of a deal that is. Mm-hmm. They had the whole National House of Chiefs had a huge ceremony at Jamestown by the lighthouse situation. Mm-hmm. Like it was huge. They did all of the sacrifice and they did a whole traditional bit. Mm-hmm. That was in 90. It was either 92 or 94.
Okay.
So from then, I think it's the Akamufe chief in the eastern region. Mm-hmm. They decided that chief decided, you know, we had a hand in people being sold off. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to basically give some reparations.
Right.
So, because there was a civil conflict between these two tribes. The tribe that won sold off the tribe that lost. Mm-hmm. So okay, for our reparations, we're going to start with these 30,000 acres of land. Mm-hmm. And basically they had these conditions on it. You know, when you get land, there's conditions. Like when somebody giving it to you, you need to develop your lands. They needed to build a palace on the land.
Yeah.
We needed to designate a chief, designate a queen mother. We had to get a board. We had to do the constitution of the tribe, and all of those things were supposed to be done. When I started dealing with them in 2015, nothing had been done. Nothing of substantial. There was only 8 houses, 8 or 9 houses on the property. The palace hadn't been built. The constitution wasn't in place. There had been some fight between some folks from Detroit and Chicago or some shit, and some money had been sent, and the money was, they was telling people that they had to pay taxes on the land in Ghana, and it was just a whole big old mess. And some of the Black Americans had to come in